we will
data type.
continue. Okay, data is actually anything we have. Okay, anything we work on. For example, if you're adding two numbers, your two numbers are your data. Okay, if you're writing the names of the people you have at your home, the name of those people is your data. Okay, data is anything you are working with. They can be numbers, they can be symbols, they can be alphabets. Okay, data can be of any type. For example, if you're making a grocery list, that grocery item's name and price and quantity is your data. Okay, so you have three different type of data. One is alphabetical and other is numeric. Okay. Okay, so now we see we have 5 data types here. One is called integer. Integer is actually a whole complete number without a decimal, without a point. Like a data can be -5, but it cannot be 5.1, -5.1. Okay, it cannot be decimal. Decimal is any number which have a point in them, like 2.1, 3.4. Okay, this in integers we do not consider any points. Okay, for example, 0 is an integer, so 0 is a whole number. For example, 123, it can be any number, but the number must not contain any decimal. Okay, that will be integer. So one data type can be integer. Any data type.
Wait, it can be minus and plus?
Yes, it can be minus and plus, yes. Floating point can be any fractional number. Okay, any number which has point.
Okay.
For example, you can see -87.5. It can be -1.2, 1.2, 1.3, 1.001, -1.001. Okay, here he has written 0.0. Okay, it also can be written 0.0. It means 0. 3.141159. It's also a decimal number and it's float data type. Any other data type can be string. ठीक है, sequence of character. For example, hello world, it's a data set. It has alphabets. Okay, for example, Najwa, NAJWA, it's a data set of string. This data set is called string. Okay.
Okay.
Boolean data type has
earlier there was a character.
Yes.
In the other slide. So there's character is which
actually the string. Okay, very good question. Okay, character is actually Najwa, if you write simple n, it's a character. Okay, it holds some value in the memory. It's a character, and a series of character makes a string.
Okay.
Okay.
So maybe one character is if it's alone.
Yes.
Without it's not a series basically.
Yeah, but we can represent it as a string. Why we need a data type? Why we need it? Because a compiler must know how much memory it has to allocate in the RAM. Okay. For example, integer has just one number, so it allocate a few bytes or 1 byte or 2 byte for it. If I tell it no, the data is floating point, so my compiler must know, okay, if it is a floating point, it must contain 2 or more numbers. Okay, you can see in any fractional number there are at least two digits. So floating point must need more space. Okay, if I tell it, okay, I have a string of data, okay, then it must know, okay, a string must have few alphabets, so I must allocate large space for it. If I tell it it's a Boolean, okay, Boolean mostly contain 1 or 0. 1 means true or yes. 0 means false or no. Okay, and fifth is like no data. So no data means null. If we write null, if we give any value null, we write null, it automatically fills the value with 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, like no value. Okay. Our interaction is actually input and output. I don't know how compiler is doing a thing. I just write something or give it something, the calculator gives me the answer. Okay, I don't know how my calculator is working behind. So my interaction is only with screen and numbers. Okay. Our interaction with a program are treated in many languages. as a stream of bytes. Okay, for example, I'm writing any program, or for example, you are making a bill, or you are counting a bill of your grocery thing. Okay, you got for your month.
Mm-hmm.
You are just entering numbers and numbers and adding them. Okay, so what are you doing? You are using streams of bytes, streams of number. Byte is actually the memory,
Numbers.
the number. It is a bit, if I write, okay, I will explain byte in a coming slide. Okay, the byte represent data that can be interpreted as representing value that we understand. Okay, byte is the size of data. Okay,
Okay.
for example, if you, whenever you want to measure the length of your shirt, you use a meter tape. Okay, because the length
Yeah.
is measured in tape. For weight, we use kg. For mass, we use kgs. Same as for data, we use bytes. Okay, a byte contains of 8 bits. A byte contains of 8 bits. Okay, 8 bit is just one number. It allocates one place or one number in memory. If I write 1 bit, my system or my compiler will allocate one space in RAM for my data. If I write 1 byte is equal to 8 bits. Okay. If I write 1 byte, my system will allocate 8 spaces in RAM. Additionally, within program, we process this data in various ways, such as adding them or sorting them. Okay, we can do different tasks in our program. We can add our data. We can sort it, for example, from highest to lowest, from lowest to highest. Okay, this data comes in different form. For example, your name is a string of characters. Okay,
Characters.
your age is an integer.
It's
Okay,
a whole number. Okay.
Yes, yes, it's a whole number. Okay, your age can be a floating point. Okay, for example, I write I am 30.1. For example, 30 years and 1 month. But technically, it's not very correct, because after 12, we cannot write 30.13. So technically, it's not okay. So your age is always an integer. The third is the amount of money in your pocket. How can I do it without seeing? Can you please help me? What can be the data set of the amount of money in your pocket?
What do you mean?
Okay, what data set it, the amount of money in your pocket, can it be an integer or floating point or string or boolean? In which data type you can represent the amount?
Money. It can also have cents, like,
Very
you
good.
know, like
Very
put
good.
a whole
Very
number. So
it will be a
I think the real one.
yeah, very good.
Yeah, the
Very
real.
good. Very good. The floating point. That is the data type.
Yes.
Very good. A major part of understanding how to design and code program is centered in understanding of type of data that we want to manipulate and how to manipulate that data. Okay, this is important, that you should know what do you want to do with your program, and you must write the exact data type. For example, I said I want to add 2.1 and 3.1. Okay, but I want my answer in integers, so it is not possible. It will not give me the right result. Okay, I must know what the data type I have and which type of variable I am using for my answer. What is a variable? Now I am going to tell you what is a variable in coming slide. Before this, please remember this. Okay, I forgot one thing. There are signed and unsigned data. Okay, there is signed and unsigned data. For example, if I write signed integer, then it means I must use all the positive signed integers. +1, +2, +3, +4, +5. My program then cannot process the numbers which do not have sign. Okay. And if I write unsigned data, it means I can use data of any type. Size of short is, I can write short and long. short and long with data. Okay. For example, I am using integers. I can, for integer in my program, I write int, int. Okay. For floating point, I write float,
Okay.
float. For example, I am taking a
Okay.
variable x. I will write intx. It means x is an integer. If I'm taking x as a floating point, I will write float x. For string, I will write string. For Boolean, I will write Boolean. Okay, it differs from compiler to compiler, and whichever programming language are you going to use, you will know before that how to write it. Okay, in this syntax. Okay, size of short is 2 bytes. Size of int is 4 bytes. 4 bytes mean 4 multiplied by 8 is equal to 32 bits. 32 bits will be allocated in RAM for integer. Size of long is 8 bytes. Size of float is 4 bytes.
I'm not understanding what is this data size
Okay,
like.
this data size is if, so for example, I have a variable x, okay? I will add 2 plus 2 and my answer will be collected by a variable x. Okay, so what will be the size of x will depend upon how I will represent x. For example, I said x is an integer. So for integer x, the size 4 bytes will be allocated in RAM for its result. I can do the mathematical manipulation whose answer can be of 4 bytes. If I add numbers which are very large, whose answer exceeds 4 bytes, my compiler will crash. I must know I should add numbers whose answer, or I should do work whose answer can be in 4 bytes. I'm holding this slide, okay? I'm not going in details about this slide. I will repeat this slide after that lecture, okay? About data size, okay? Okay, let's see what is the variable. In most or all software programming languages, variable work like container to hold numbers, phrases, or other important stuff used in several places in your code. Okay, variable is for okay, let's take an example. You take jars at home. Okay, you buy empty jars for your home, and you don't know what will you keep in that, but you know you will use it in your kitchen someday, because they keep your things safe. Same is with variable. I cannot always use numbers. For example, I don't, if I am making a program for to add two numbers, I don't know which two numbers my user will add. Okay, so I will make a program with some, for example, you are using a cupboard, you are designing a cupboard, you will, how will you measure the size of the cabinets? You will you know, assume or observe or design the size randomly, okay, by using random objects. Okay, for example, you know, a person can pile up to 10 clothes in this section, a person can pile up to 20 clothes in this section, a person can hang like his pants of this length in this section. How will you just estimate? Okay, for example, you sew clothes, no, not about sewing clothes, you know, the jars are of certain length and certain width.
Yes.
Okay, the kitchen jars, they are estimated. They don't know how much amount you will put in it. They are of random sizes. You can take the big one, the small one. Same is with variables. For example, you are designing a program, or for example, when a person invented calculator, he didn't knew that how many numbers we are going to add, which mathematical manipulation we are going to add. He didn't know. He just make a program randomly. Okay, randomly and with his estimation that will work with all the numbers. Same is with variable. For example, I will take x and y. I'll make a program which will add x and y and display the result. That x and y can be any number. Okay, my program will work for that. So this is a variable. A variable can be an integer, a floating point, or a character. Okay, but my system must know. My system must know that this variable can be of any type.
Okay.
Okay, okay, maybe you are you get difficulty in learning this, but once you will start doing the programming, these are nothing. Okay, don't get afraid because of these. Inshallah, you will understand these in detail. Okay, Najma, are
Okay,
these
inshallah.
visible to you?
Yes.
Okay, variable identifiers can be defined. Okay, here. Variable identifiers can be different across languages. Okay, variable identifiers can be different. Here are some examples of how variables are handled with several different programming languages. Okay, please see the third line. Int. This int means the variable is integer.
Integer. Okay.
This width is a name of variable. Okay, this can be X, Y, this can be Najwa, this can be any alphabet. This cannot be a number. Okay,
What is width?
width is a variable
Why is it
name.
width?
It can be of
It's a variable name.
any name. You can, in this example I have taken width, you can name it as a variable. You can name it as W, X, Y. You can give any name to a variable. Okay. And width equal to 10 means this variable width is assigned with a value of 10. Okay.
Okay.
You get this line?
Width is assigned to the
No, the
10.
value 10 is assigned to the variable width.
Okay.
With the C programming language, you can specify the data type for a variable. For example, an integer. Lines of code in C also end with a semi. Okay, this semicolon. This semicolon must be written in any programming language. Okay, for not any, or in C++, Dev, C, Python, and MATLAB, we put the semicolon. What the semicolon do? The semicolon mean my instruction is ended. Okay. Now go to next instruction. Okay. This is about different languages. In language Lua, I do not write data type.
Are these types of languages?
Yeah, the C, Lua, PHP. These are compilers, Python, Rails. How do we write?
Are we going to learn about them?
No, we are not going to learn about them. I'm just giving you different examples how you are. It is actually introductory course in which we learn about how different languages work.
Okay.
Okay. So in Lua, we do not write int. We just write width is equal to 10.
Okay.
Okay. In PHP, we write $sign before this. In Python, we do not write anything and we do not put a semicolon. In Rails, we have to write.
In Lua and Python is same.
Their data representation is same. Yes.
Okay.
They may be different in other different things. Okay. And Rails, we have to write AA at.
Okay. So these are the different programming languages.
Yes, these are the different programming languages. We do not have to go in depth. Okay.
Okay.
These are just for understanding. Okay. Keys to remember. Variable name must begin with a letter.
Okay.
Okay. Underscore. You can write underscore or non-number character. As I told you, it should not be a number. Okay. Each language has its own naming convention to guide how variables are named. In any programming language, whenever you open a compiler, it gives you a detailed instruction about each and everything. Okay, you do not have to get worried about any programming language. They are very, very easy to handle. Okay, they give complete detail how to write a variable. Okay, variables can have a global scope available everywhere in an application. Okay, some variables are of global scope. For example, in C++, the small c is represented for speed of light. which is 3 multiplied by 10 raised to power 8. Okay, whenever you write C, it automatically gives this value to C. It is a global scope. For example, if you will use that C in anywhere, it will give 3 into 10 raised to power 8 value to that C. Or it can have local scopes. For example, you have given a value x is equal to 10. So throughout the program, the x will carry the value 10. Okay. Okay. Do not use comma with numbers. Do not use commas. Only the period or a point. Every language has. Sorry?
The dot, you mean, the point?
Yes, yes. Every language has reserved word that cannot be used in variables. Okay. Every language has different words which cannot be used in variable. For example, date. Instead, you might name your date relative variable DTE or start date. If you write date, it will definitely read it as today's date. You cannot use this variable. Okay.
What are other examples?
Sorry?
What are other examples?
What are other? Every compiler has different examples. If you write any variable which already have some value, it will show you that you cannot use this word. Okay, you cannot use this variable because this has this value. Compiler is very user friendly. Okay, as we talked about size of data set, now we can talk about size of variable. The size of variable will depend upon the data set. Whatever the data set will be, the size of variable will be like this. For example, you have variable x, which is integer. So x will have the size of integer. Okay. If x is float, its size will be the size of float. We will discuss it in detail, inshallah, in next slide. Okay, there are some procedural languages: C, Pascal, Fortran, and similar languages. Each statement in the procedural languages mean the program is compiled one by one. The first step is done first, then the second, then the third, then the fourth. Okay. Some programming languages are not smart. Okay, I'll give you an example. Programming language is like a person. Okay, like a helper. Okay. You keep him. So the older programming languages were not smart. They used to do the task sequentially. For example, for a cup of coffee, if you ask your help or the person you have at your home for help, you say, oh, go get a cup of coffee, then turn the stove on, and then put the coffee, and then add water, and then put the kettle on. He will not smartly do it. He will do whatever you say to him in whatever order. Okay. Then will you get the desired results?
No.
No, because the sequence was not correct. Same is with C, Pascal, and Fortran. To get the right result, you must take care of the instruction. Okay. You must take care that the instruction must be in sequence. Same is with these languages. Whenever writing a program, we must take care of the sequence. But in many languages, we do not take care of sequence. They automatically knows how to do it. Okay?
Okay.
Each statement in the language tells... Yes, Najwa?
Yes, nothing. I was just saying yes.
Okay. Please do let me know.
So it's just these three which are similar ones?
Yeah. Some similar ones can be, Java is actually, maybe Python. Python is sequential. I don't know about the updated version of it, but it was before sequential. But now the modified version are not sequential. Okay. Each statement in the language tell the computer to do something, get some input, add these number, divided by 6, and display the output. Okay. A program in a procedural language is a list of instructions that how to do a task and in which sequence. Okay, these are the procedural languages.
Okay.
Division into functions. Okay, when program become larger, a single list of instructions become unwieldy. For example, you want your program to do a list of tasks, a list maybe 200 or 300 lines. You write a program of 200 or 300 lines. That is very large program, and it is very difficult to handle for you. Compiler can do it, but it can be difficult for a user, a programmer. So what we do, we call the function. Functions are some built-in functions, and we can make functions by ourselves. For example, to add a number, in many compilers, you do not have to write a program. You just write ADD add and write two numbers. It will give you the result. For example, if you want to take the factorization and want to calculate the LCM, okay,
Yes.
you can simple write LCM and these two numbers. The program will give you the output. Like you don't have to write a program of 10 or 12 lines. Okay. For example, you have a set of 100 numbers and you want to sort them out. Okay. In descending order or in ascending order. So mostly compilers have built-in program. You just write sort and give the data. Okay, give the data of 100 number or 200 number. It will automatically sort it, and you will just write one sort and it will give you the output. If
Like
you
how they calculate it in the Excel workbook.
yes,
Like
exactly. Yeah, very good example. So this is how the things are done in different programming languages. A procedural program is divided into functions, and each function has a clear defined purpose. Okay. A procedural program is divided, functions, and every function must has its own. We can make functions by ourselves. We will discuss it later.
Okay.
The idea of breaking a program into function can be further extended by grouping a number of functions together into larger entity called a module. Okay. What is a module? It is actually a group of numbers, a group of functions. Okay. A group of, for example, arithmetic module. I have an arithmetic module. What my arithmetic module can do? It can add numbers, it can subtract numbers, it can divide numbers, it can multiply numbers. Okay. Whatever instruction I will write, it will do the same. For example, if I write add 3 and 6, I can write subtract 3 or 6. Okay. We can have more than one functions in a program. Okay. Okay, we will discuss about how the programming language work. Okay, these are the 6 phases. One is editor.
Okay.
Write the program in editor. Okay. Then is pre-processing, compiling, linking, loading, and executing. Okay, how? First, I write the program in editor. The first phase consists of editing a file. The programmer types a program with editor. When I'm writing a program in editor, that file is called my source file. Okay. Then my source file is, whenever I write a program, then my source file is saved on my system. Okay, what my source file is, when I save my source file in my system, it's saved with an extension. For example, if you save an Excel file, how it is saved? It's XLXX with extension. It has an extension. Okay. If you save a file with name Najwa, if you see on your computer, it says najwa.xlxx. Is it so?
Yes, yes.
The docs file, the word file is shared with docs, DOCX. Okay. So the compiler, the editor file is saved with the extension of that compiler. For example, if you're writing a program in C++, it will save with .cpp. Okay. Automatically. If you are writing a program in MATLAB, its extension will be .m. Okay. Okay, compile. Next is compile. Compiling is actually if I am writing a program in English with English numbers and alphabets and symbols. Compiling means translating the program from English language or alphanumeric language to machine language. And what is machine language? Machine language is actually voltages symbols. Next, for example, in C++, a preprocessor program execute automatically before the compiler transfer. Okay, no need to this, you will get confused of it. This is compiling.
Okay.
Okay, what does the linker do? Linker is actually, for example, I'm writing up, it actually works linking, okay? How it links my program, my instructions to the system. Okay. Okay, it will when it will start linking, it will tell me, okay, you missed a semicolon here. Okay, you have a syntax error in this line. You cannot use this letter. Okay. It will display a list of messages on my screen that you have.
So that's what the linker does.
Sorry.
So this is what the linking will do.
Yeah,
That's
this
the
is
only
what
job.
the linking. Yes, this is what the linking will do. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, what is loading? That next thing is loader. Before a program can be executed, the program must be placed in memory. Okay, the program must clear the space in memory where the output will be stored. All right.
Okay.
Okay. That is called loading. And finally, the execute. Execute is now running. The program will run. And it will do either I want it to sort two numbers, I want it to add two numbers, to subtract, whatever I want it will do it. Yes. Do you have any question?
No.
Okay, this is just for theory purpose. Most of the things are theory purpose. You for letting you know. Okay, they do not like they are not important for our programming program, but you must know few things to keep it in your mind. Program statements are instruction to computer to do something, such as adding two numbers or printing a sentence. A preprocessor directive, on the other hand, is an instruction to the compiler. Okay, it wants a compiler to do something.
Okay.
A part of compiler called the preprocessor deal with these directives before it began the real compilation process. Okay, before our compilation start or before my program start something, my compiler tell the preprocessor, you know, all the works are done by my processor. If I take my processor out, my system is useless. Processor is doing actually everything in the system. Okay, I ask my processor to do things. Whenever you see a processor, it just like small chip, and it's nothing else. A small chip integrated with few items. Okay, every program has a header file. You add. Okay, in C++, it is called IOStream. I will tell you the header files about your programming language, or whichever programming language you will learn. Every programming has only few header files. You just have to type. You have nothing to do with them. Okay, they just help me tell if, for example, I have IOStream, it will tell me that I will use mathematical operations. Okay, and I will use numbers. And if you add another, for example, as I told you that we have many built-in functions, for example, add, sort, remember? So if I want my compiler to use those functions, I must have to add that header file too. So my program must know, okay, those programs must be used in this program. Okay, those functions must be used. Header file just tell my program which programs are going to be used in this compilation. Okay. Okay. There are different functions we will discuss about function. So programs use some braces. Some numbers are used in braces. You will learn about it when you will start doing programming. Okay, this is about C++. This is compiler, ignore the white space almost completely. Okay. What are white spaces? White spaces are spaces, tabs, and new lines. My compiler doesn't read them. If you write a program on your editor on first line and write the second instruction on 10th line and skip the 8th line between, compiler will not read those 8 lines. Okay. These characters are invisible to the compiler. Compiler doesn't know that you left all those lines. You can put several statements on one line separated by number or space or tabs, or you can run a statement over 2 or more lines. Okay. You can write all the statements in one line, but you must separate them by a semicolon.
Yeah. So the semicolon, so those lines or spaces are invisible.
Yes, invisible. My compiler doesn't know that you have left 8 spaces or over, or it will not remind you that you have left those spaces. It doesn't even care. Okay.
Okay.
So this is for now. We have read about basics of some programming, and inshallah we will discuss about binary language in next class. I will recommend you to please keep a register and pen and a calculator with you in your next class. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so inshallah we will discuss it in our next class. And I have any question, or if you have no question, you can leave the class.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.